So this just in, Congress has just agreed on a $2 trillion economic stimulus plan. So as I'm recording this video, Trump actually hasn't signed it yet, but he's already said that he will sign it. So by the time this video is up, it's probably gonna be fully executed. So basically in this video, I'm gonna show you guys who benefits from this stimulus plan and how you can get paid. So starting off, what is the stimulus package for and why is it needed? So as you already know, coronavirus or COVID-19 is affecting the lives of pretty much everyone in the world right now. It is a pandemic event, a black swan event that millions and millions of Americans and people all over the world are affected by. And unfortunately, this is gonna create a huge hit on the economy. People are gonna lose their jobs. Businesses are gonna go out of business since there's no more demand for tons of these small businesses out there. And also even these big corporations are getting hit as well. Think about it, if people aren't allowed to go outside and consume, since this is such a consumption-based economy, then so many people are gonna be out of work. Restaurants, clothing stores, gyms, all these businesses are gonna see huge decreases in their revenue. Also, tons of people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have enough reserves, enough money in their bank account to hold them over if they do end up losing their jobs. And while this is a separate issue on its own, the government realizes that right now they need to get money into the hands of Americans, because if they don't, then they won't be able to buy necessities such as food and pay for rent. It really has a domino effect. If the individuals in America don't have enough money to spend, well, then they won't spend money at small businesses. These businesses are then going to have lower revenue. They won't be able to pay their employees, and it just kind of ripples on throughout the economy. And worst case scenario, tens of millions of people end up losing their jobs as a result. So now what's in it for Americans? What's in it for you? Well, let's go over some of the components of this relief bill. Probably one of the most important components and why you clicked on this video is actually the direct payments to individuals. The government is going to start to pay people money. They're also going to have expanded unemployment coverage. This is going to help all the people that lost their jobs, that aren't able to work and bring in an income. There's also going to be a lot of mortgage relief and also student loan relief. Okay, the first one that we're talking about, payments to individuals, the most important one for most of you guys. The number one question is, how much money are you going to get from this plan? So for most adults, people 18 or over, they're going to get a direct payment of $1,200. For qualifying children 16 or under, they also get $500. So right now, based on this plan, this is only a one-time payment. So you're gonna get a direct payment right now or in the next few weeks, and after that, any other aid is going to be dependent on any further bills that are passed. Now, does everyone get this full $1,200? Not necessarily. It really depends on your filing status and also on your income. So if you are a single filer and you're making $75,000 or less per year based on your adjusted gross income, then you're going to get this full $1,200 direct payment. If you're married and your total income for the year is $150,000 or less, then you get the full $2,400 payment for both of you guys. And if you file as the head of a household and you make under $112,500, you also get that full $1,200 payment. If you're curious what your AGI is, the adjusted gross income, look on your last tax return and that's going to show you what your AGI is. Now, if you haven't filed your taxes for 2019 yet, the government's just going to look at your AGI for 2018. But if you have filed your 2019 taxes, they're going to use that updated number. So maybe if you haven't filed your taxes this year and you actually qualified based on last year's income and made, under $75,000, then I would actually just skip out on filing your taxes for now until the deadline in July and do that later on. That way you'll qualify for the full $1,200 and you get to pay your taxes a little bit later. Now, if you make over $75,000 as a single filer, you're actually gonna get less than $1,200. It's based on a prorated amount. So if you're making over $99,000, you're gonna get zero direct payments. However, if you make something in between $75,000 and $99,000, you're going to get a lower number than $1,200, but you're still gonna get something. That extends to married couples. If you're married and you make over $198,000 per year, you're also unfortunately not going to receive a payment. Now, what happens if you're a college student? Well, if you meet the requirements that I previously mentioned and you're also not listed as a dependent on any of your parents' tax returns, then you will qualify. So what I would do is ask your parent if they put you as a dependent. Most college students are going to be listed as a dependent because that means that your parent is supporting at least 50% of your expenses. Now, how do you get this payment? Well, if you filed your taxes before, then the IRS might already have your bank account information. And if they do, they're going to wire you the money directly. If they don't have your bank account information, then they'll be sending you out a check. And this is obviously the slower way to get your money. If they do wire you the money directly, they will also send you a piece of mail stating where the money went and when it was paid. So you will get a confirmation of being paid. So yeah, this is obviously really great for everyone. I mean, this whole situation is not great, but hey, most of you guys will get some free money out of this, so that's pretty nice. This stimulus package also has a lot of benefits for unemployed people. It basically extends the coverage of unemployment so that a lot of people that normally would not qualify to receive unemployment payments now do so. Specifically, self-employed people and also part-time workers are now included in unemployment. If you're unemployed, you're much more likely to be able to receive benefits from unemployment because they are extending their coverage by a lot. So now, how much are you going to receive? Well, it depends on the state that you're in. Most states these days are going to pay you between 40 and 45% of your weekly income in unemployment. But with this new stimulus package, they're actually going to give out $600 in extra payments to everyone who qualifies for unemployment. So not only does it give more people unemployment, it also gives you more money. So let's take an example. Let's say you're in California and currently you get $450 per week in unemployment. Well, this new stimulus package is going to add $600 per week to that. So you're going to be getting in $1,050 each week in unemployment. And this extra $600 payment, it lasts for 4 months. So you're going to be getting that payment up until what?
While Patchy pulls himself together.
If you're watching this at the end of March, you'll be getting that all the way until July. So for most states, unemployment lasts 26 weeks, but with this new plan, they're adding 13 weeks to that. So you can get unemployment for up to 39 weeks. Like I said before, self-employed people, gig workers, part-time people, you're all covered under this new plan. Basically, how they're going to do it is they're going to look at your previous income and they're going to calculate how much they owe you now and pay you that amount. And yes, you are eligible for that $600 extra per week. It's pretty complicated, so what I would do is go online, look at the actual details and see if you qualify for unemployment. But yeah, you can totally see that they are injecting a lot of money into the economy. They're putting a lot more money in unemployment and the government is giving out an unprecedented amount of free money right now. Okay, so now let's get on to the students. If you're a student and you have a student loan, then great news, you're gonna have a lot of benefits from this new plan. Basically, the government has suspended all payments until September 30th. If you have any loan from the federal government in the last 10 years, you're eligible for this. And most loans in the United States are eligible. You also don't have to pay any interest, so it doesn't cost you any money to defer these payments. Now, is it free money? Not necessarily. Each month that they suspend your payments, that month is going to be added on to your loan term and you'll have to eventually make that payment later on. So it's basically just like a loan deferment without any interest. This will hopefully free up a lot of cash flow for many students who are making these monthly student loan payments and make it easier for them to get by through this recession. Now, if you have a small business, the government luckily is allocating about $350 billion. Yeah, it's just really sad right now. Like, business owners are getting wrecked. With people not allowed to go outside for non-essential businesses, they're seeing their revenues decrease by like up to 95%. Many of these physical businesses have high overhead costs, high fixed costs that they still have to make each and every month. So if they don't have any revenue coming in and they don't have a reserve, then they're going to run out of money soon, and unfortunately many of these businesses will have to close. If these businesses close, well, that means they're laying off their workers, and the economy is really screwed later on. And that's why it makes a lot of sense for the government to provide these $350 billion in loans to small businesses that are struggling right now. And now if you're curious about what the rest of the money is going to, well, about $500 billion is going out to big corporations to prevent them from going out of business. While the thought of bailing out these huge corporations worth billions and billions of dollars is kind of troublesome, the last thing that we want is for these corporations to go out of business, because that's going to have a severe impact on our economy. And since this is a medical crisis, about $100 billion is going to healthcare assistance. Hope this video helps you guys. We're in unprecedented times. Unemployment numbers just went up to 3.3 million in the US, which is insane. The previous record set for unemployment was 695,000, and that was set in 1982. So worst case scenario, this pandemic continues longer, the shelter in place continues longer, and more people lose their jobs, and we really enter into a great recession. I definitely hope that doesn't happen, but sometimes it's just safe to be prepared. Now, if you're like me, you might be wondering, where is this money coming from? Where's this $2 trillion coming from? Well, essentially, the government is just borrowing $2 trillion because there really is no such thing as a free lunch, right? As a result, there's going to be a lot more inflation. Now, inflation has generally been between 1% to 2% each and every year. But with this new stimulus plan, with something that's never been done like this before, we really don't know where inflation rates are going to go. But I do expect that they're going to be a little bit higher than 1% to 2%. We'll find out. This stimulus plan is much needed right now. We really want to be able to avoid that domino effect where if people can't pay their bills, people can't spend money, then the whole economy is going to collapse because small businesses and big corporations are all going to go out of business. And that, as well as more people dying from this virus, is the last thing that we want. So yeah, happy spending. Hope you guys get your money soon. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos just like this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.